The end parts.
Yashodanandana Vrajajana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Jaya Uttam Samparibrajacharya Sakharaya Smadhati Tam Saraswati Goswami Bhagavati Jaya Nanda Gauri Vaishnava Ki Jaya Ramacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Jaya Names of the whole Sri Krishna Chaitanya Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakti Jaya Sri Radha Krishna Bhogavna Sam Kanda Radha Kanda Giri Ki Jaya Vrindavan Dham Ki Jaya Navadvip Dham Ki Jaya Ganga Maya Ki Jaya Jamuna Maya Ki Jaya Guru Dwarka Dham Ki Jaya Swami Bhaktivinoda Ki Jaya All glories to Krishna All glories to Krishna Thank you very much.
The world we're living in
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Gurudev, and all glories to assembled Vaishnava devotees. We thank you for being here, dear devotees. We are waiting for our speaker to be here, and then we'll begin the Krishna Katha. Hare Krishna.
Nadia Gojumani Tananda Mahajan Nadia Gojumani Tananda Mahajan Patya Chinam Hate Jibera Karan Patya Chinam Hate Jibera Karan Shraddha Bhanjan hai, Shraddha Bhanjan hai, Shraddha Bhanjan hai, Shraddha Bhanjan hai. Prabhu aagai bhai magiye bhikha, Prabhu aagai bhai magiye bhikha. Bhajo Krishna Koro Krishna Shika Bolo Krishna Bhajo Krishna Koro Krishna Shika.
Okay. Yeah. Hopefully I have my notes.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Shri HARINAMANANDA Prabhu. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Sorry for being late.
It's okay.
I
We can see what's going on.
Yeah,
You are a little Narada Muni. So
I'm always on the move, yes. I actually thought it was at 12, and so it's my fault. And then yes. No.
It's okay.
Anyway, I'm online.
Okay. All right. So we're going to put the verse on the screen, and hopefully you will be able to read on the screen.
Okay. Otherwise, I can read from.
You can read from your end also. All right.
Okay.
We'll put the verse on the screen anyway, so the devotees may follow.
Okay, 2:10:46, right?
Yes, Prabhuji, yes.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. So should I begin?
Yes, please. Yes, Prabhuji, yes.
Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 10, Text 46. Ayam tu Brahmana Kalpa, Savikalpa Udarhita, Vidhi Sadarano Yatra, Saga Prakrita Vikritaha. This process of creation and annihilation described in summary herein is the regulative principle during the duration of Brahma's one day. It is also the regulative principle in the creation of Mahat, in which the material nature is dispersed. There are three different types of creation called Mahakalpa, Vikalpa, and Kalpa. In the Mahakalpa, the Lord assumes the first Purusha incarnation as Karanadaksha Vishnu with all the potencies of the Mahatata, and the 16 principles of creative matter and instruments. The creative instruments are 11, the ingredients are 5, and all of them are products of Mahats, or materialistic ego. These creations by the Lord in his feature of Karanadaksha Vishnu are called Mahakalpa. The creation of Brahma and dispersion of the material ingredients are called Vikalpa, and the creation by Brahma in each day of his life is called Kalpa. Therefore, each day of Brahma is called a Kalpa, and there are 30 Kalpas in terms of Brahma's days. This is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 8:17 as follows: Sahasra Yuga Pararitam Aha Yad Brahmano Vidu Ratim Yuga Sahasrantam Teho Ratra Vido Janaha. In the upper planetary system, the duration of one complete day and night is equal to one complete year of this earth. This is accepted even by the modern scientists and attested by the astronauts. Similarly, in the region of still higher planetary systems, the duration of day and night is still greater than the heavenly planets. The 4 yugas are calculated in terms of the heavenly calendars and accordingly are 12,000 years in terms of the heavenly planets. This is called a Divya Yuga, and 1,000 Divya Yugas make one day of Brahma. The creation during the day of Brahma is called Kalpa, and the creation of Brahma is called Vikalpa. When Vikalpas are made possible by the breathing of Mahavishnu, this is called a Mahakalpa. There are regular and systematic cycles of these Mahakalpas, Vikalpas, and Kalpas. In answer to Maharaj Parikshit's question about them, Shukadeva Goswami answered in the Prabhasa Khanda of the Skanda Purana. They are as follows. Pratama Svetakalpascha Dvitiyo Nila Lohita Vamademas Jitiyastu Tato Kantaro Para Rovava Panchama Prokta Sasta Prana Iti Smrita Sattamo Ta Brihat Kalpa Kandapo Stam Uchite Satyuto Navama Kalpa Ishano Dasama Smrita Hiya Ekada Sa Proktas Tata Sadasto Para Dardasas Udanastu Guru Dota Chatustasa Komara Panchadaso Geya Omasi Prajapati Sodaso Narasimhastu Samadhistu Tato Para Agneyo Vishnujasura Somavikapas Tato Para Pravimso Pavana Prokta Supaman Iti Chapara Pakuntas Chastisas Tavad Valikapas Tato Para Saptavimso Ta Para Jo Gaurikapas Tata Para Maha Ishvaras Tata Proktas Tripuro Yatra Gatita Pritikapas Tata Chante Ya Kahu Brahmanasmita. Therefore, the 30 kalpas of Brahma are: number 1, Sweta Kalpa; 2, Nila Lohita; 3, Vamanadeva; 4, Gantantara; 5, Rovya; 6, Prana; 7, Brihat Kalpa; 8, Kandapa; 9, Sodyata; 10, Ishana; 11, Dhyana; 12, Saraswata; 13, Udana; 14, Garuda; 15, Korma; 16, Narasimha; 17, Samadhi; 18, Agneya; 19, Vishnuja; 20, Sora; 20, Samakalpa; 22, Bhavan; 23, Sumpuma; 24, Vaikuntha. 25, Achesa. 26, Valikalpa. 27, Vairaja. 28, Bodhikalpa. 29, Maheshwara. 30, Pati. These are Brahma's days only, and he has to live months and years up to 100. So we can just imagine how many creations there are in kalpas only. Then again, there are vikalpas, which are generated by the breathing of Mahavishnu, as stated in the Brahma Samhita. Yasheka nisasita kalam ata valambiya jivanti lome vilaja jaganantanata. The Brahmas live only during the breathing period of Mahavishnu. So the exhaling and inhaling of Vishnu are Mahakalpas. And all these are due to the Supreme Person Godhead, for no one else is the master of all creations. Om Gyanti Vedandasya Gyanarashalakya Chakshumi Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swai Bhagavatamaya Dati Swai. Panchakalpa Tarubhischa Prasindu Vyavicha Patitana Pami Vyo Vashivyo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nitya Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So when we hear such descriptions, one may think it's imagination or mythology, but there's too much detail there to see that how could this be made up. When we go to the third canto, there's a chapter calling Time Calculated from the Atom to the Life of Lord Brahma. And it's all very specific calculations. And actually, mathematics, the numbers that are used in the English language are derived from ancient Indian scriptures. And they call it Hindu Arabic numbers. So how did they do this? And this is the process of attaining knowledge in Vedic culture through parampara. This is the scientific method. The unscientific method is through speculation or empirically, using one's teeny mind and senses. But the conditioned soul has 4 defects. Having imperfect senses. So due to having imperfect senses, you have the second defect. You make mistakes. Your calculations will be wrong. The scientists, they make their telescope with these imperfect senses. So how are they going to get perfect information? So due to getting imperfect information, you make mistakes. And to hide your mistakes, the third defect is that you cheat. You cheat others, decide to say, perhaps it's like this, maybe it's like this. And because you yourself believe the lie, the fourth defect of the conditioned soul is to be illusion. So the 4 defects of imperfect senses, committing mistakes, cheating, and being in illusion. So this is what's going on in modern society. Modern society is saying that there is no God in control and he cannot create. And actually, even we are the only living beings around on this huge universe with billions of planets. And we are the apex of evolution. Everything came from a big bang. Since when there was an explosion and no one, straight away you ask, who did it? They're not asking such questions. They're foolish rascals, Prabhupada would say. Straight away, there must be a personality behind it. We see intelligence all around us. We see so much organization from the micro level to the macro level. Just to build a building, so much engineering and intelligence needs to be involved, making sure that it stays stable for hundreds of years. No one just made an explosion and then a building appeared. And even onto the micro, you know, the one cell organism, and under a microscope, they can see that it has many intricate vein lines or systems that are involved there. And even there's like organisms inside the cell that have like something like a propeller that has like revolutions per minute that not even modern man can create machine like that. The scientists are in awe at looking at the design of even just a single cell, but to speak of how even the sun is rising at a specific time, regulated every day and setting every night. How is that possible? How can you not say there's no intelligence behind it? But they are blind to the facts. So Bhagavatam is revealing to us in detail exactly how Krishna manifests his world. And why do we need such detail? Because we only see the material nature around us. We don't see the spiritual energy. Our eyes are blunt to it. Our senses are blunt to it. Atashi Krishna Namadi Namabe Karanamindriya Seva Mukhi Jivada Swami Respiratiyada. The material senses cannot see spirit, they're very blunt, but by service with the tongue, the Lord reveals himself. So by hearing and chanting the Srimad Bhagavatam, we get the Lord revealed to us. But because we can't appreciate him as that supreme person at Godhead, we see in this second canto that the first chapters is the first step in God realization and referring to the universal form. And also here in this chapter, the universal form is referred to. So we need to understand how he manifests his nature, how he's in control of it, and how it's being organized for the benefit of all living entities. This material world is made for two reasons: to fulfill the foolish desire of the living entity to enjoy separating from the Lord, but simultaneously to rectify his foolish desire so he can be truly happy and come back to him, to the spiritual world. And this appreciation starts off in an amazing way. You know, Allah Akbar, God is great. But they do not know how he is great. We see in the form of Mahavishnu, he is, from his pores, just from his pores, the universes are emanating and being created and having a full life and being destroyed when he breathes in. This is how great God is. And we're in one of the smallest universes, apparently, which lasts for 311 trillion, 40 billion years. Sounds very great. Once we talk into trillions of years, then the brain tends to shut off to it. No, this is imagination. No, this has nothing to do with me. No, we're in the thick of it. The reason why we shut the brain off or we don't want to take its importance is because if we understand Brahma's life, then it makes us and our lifetime and our achievements insignificant. This is the problem. False ego doesn't like it. But when we hear it, yes, we become in awe of the Lord. But we're not a God-fearing society. Because once we find out someone more greater than us, who has greater intelligence, who's maintaining us, and who's in control of even our next breath that could be taken away, then we're in fear. Oh no, please. You know, people are, for example, people are in fear of their boss. You know, he walks in, he says a joke, yeah, laugh anyway, even though it's not funny. You know, he may take your job away. We always want to please the boss, you know, to make sure he doesn't mess with our existence, our maintenance. So when we find out, yes, there is a great personality out there that's in charge of our maintenance and can destroy us at any moment, then we're in fear. But we're not a God-fearing society. We're a God-loving society. So what's the way to love God? So Tapvidi Pranapatana Pranapasana Sevya Upadikshantite Jnana Jnanastapadarshana. Krishna suggests try to approach a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively, render service unto him. These self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they've seen the truth. They understand how sweet Krishna is, how he is the supreme lover, and he'll never do anything for our misfortune. That's what they see. But a conditioned soul, even though a God-fearing of God, still cannot see how God is doing things for our benefit. There was one time I was in Mauritius, and I had to answer the nature's call in the big way, not the small way. And I go to the toilet, and inside there's a gecko in the toilet bowl swimming in the water. I'm like, oh no. And I could disregard this gecko and just carry on with business. But what kind of devotee would I be if I killed this poor gecko in this way? So I have to get him out. So I'm trying to get him out, but then he climbs up the bowl underneath, and you can't reach him. So I'm trying to get like sticks and like different strings and so he can climb onto it, and then I can take him out. But he doesn't want. He keeps hiding away from me. He thinks I'm trying to kill him. And then if I was to flush the toilet a little bit, then the water comes in, and then he slips back into the water again. So I go, okay, I'll make him slip back into the water, and then I'll pick him up with my hand like this. So when I went to pick him up, and he was just like panicking, and he panicked so much that he dropped his tail off and then ran away. And I had this tail of this gecko in my hand. I was like, what the hell is this? It's like, it's like nearly bleeding or everything. And this gecko even changed color. And I was like, and he was just like terrified, traumatized. But I can understand his mindset was like, looking at me like, you nearly tried to kill me, but I'm getting away now. So sometimes the conditioned soul thinks of God in that way, that he's just like, because we have turned away from him, then he wants blood. He's envious of our life, trying to enjoy separately from him. Christianity has the same sort of philosophy, you could say. We are born with sin, and someone has to pay the wrath. Someone has to pay the price. So then the Christian says, yes, I believe in Jesus, and I put all my sins on the Jesus credit card. Put it all on Jesus. But Prabhupada didn't have that mood. I think it was in South America, Prabhupada was staying in a hotel, and the disciple came into the room and saw Prabhupada sitting on the end of the bed with tears in his eyes. And he was looking on the wall, there was a crucifix of Jesus Christ on the cross. And he says, just see, they've killed their guru. Please remove this from him. That's what he saw. They saw that people were so envious, so greedy to try and enjoy from God, and then their God has someone who wants blood. Someone needs to die. Someone needs to pay for everyone's sinful activities. Yes, let's put the pure Son of God there. So no, we are not a God-fearing society. We're not thinking God as our order supplier. We're thinking as God as our best friend. Bhakti Yagya Tapasam Sarvaloka Meshram Suridam Sarvabhutanam Kantamam Shanti Richati is our best friend. Just think about it. This material world is described as a prison. And for example, say you're in court, some crime was committed, maybe a murder, maybe something else. And the judge sentences you life in jail. And your friend is next to you and saying, he didn't do anything. but he said, I'll come with you. So Krishna comes with us as a super soul, in the heart of not just this body, unlimited bodies that we have, even a worm installed. Krishna's there with that living entity. This is a real friend. He's not a fair weather friend. Krishna knows every thought you've gone through in your mind. Even the most degraded thoughts, he's seen you go through that. The different feelings, the different ideas, all the skeletons in the closet, he knows all about, but still he wants to be your friend. This is the real friend. Because he only cares about your happiness. He only cares about who you really are as a pure spirit soul, his loving servant, and that you should come back. So that's what this whole material world is for. It's all set up in such a way that, okay, fine, you have foolish desire. Here's this playground, a huge playground. Try as long as you want. I understand. Because he understands he wants real love from us. He's missing out on it. That's why he puts a bit of sand in the sweet rice, bit of karma there, that you start to wake up and fulfill the purpose of a human form of life, Tata Brahma Jigyasya, to inquire, who am I really? Why am I suffering? What happens to me after death? It's like a wake-up call, or maybe a slap from a loving parent. Doesn't mean the parent is like envious of the child and wants to destroy the child. No. He wants to save the child from further degradation, from further suffering. There's another story. There was a young boy, and this young boy lost his parents at a young age. And so the auntie, the sister of the parents, had to take care of this child. But the auntie was very lenient with this child because, parents died, and if you did something naughty, okay, we'll let it go, and, feel sorry for the child. So eventually the child grows up and becomes a great criminal. And this is said in the old days where, criminals were hung in public, So then, just before the auntie is seeing the nephew about to be hung, and, is there any last words for you? So then the nephew calls the auntie please, I want to tell you something. Come closer. And she's like, comes closer. No, please come closer, come closer. And it's like, she comes close. No, closer. And then the nephew bites her ear off. And she's like, oh, why'd you do that? And he chastises her. It's like, you were too lenient on me. I was being naughty and you should have disciplined me, but you didn't. Now I've turned out like this. So Krishna's discipline upon us is just to remind us that there is a better way of life to live, a life with him. And it's not out of envy, it's out of wanting our highest well-being. He is the best friend. So pretty much that's what this whole creation is for. And to realize how insignificant we are, to understand how great Krishna is, and then to eventually be enchanted by him through when he descends, displaying his wonderful pastimes with these pure devotees. This is the point we have to come to. And it's, as I said before, it's all done through the spiritual master. Our scientific process of realizing the absolute truth is through parampara. It's descending knowledge. Just like the Bhagavatam descends through parampara. Also, Ivam parampara praptam, Ivam rajo vishyo vidu, sakalena mahata, yoganasta parantapa. Through the chain of those saintly kings, the supreme science is being given. So one has to see the spiritual master as good as God. So we may do that with the spiritual master. And it may start off in the same God-fearing way. You know, oh, Guru Maharaj is coming. Oh, quick hide. Guru Maharaj, oh, okay. Do you need this? Oh, no, not this. Oh, sorry, Guru Maharaj. Very fearful of the spiritual master, just to make sure, oh, this is as good as God, as good as God. So in that fear, we we do our service to the spiritual master as a duty. It can be under fear. But when you execute your duty and you see that by fulfilling the orders of the spiritual master, one becomes more advanced, then one develops more faith. That this is the process of understanding Krishna. Some even experience like reciprocation from through the spiritual master as if it's coming from Krishna. I had a quote earlier. I'll paraphrase it. So even though the process of connecting to God is indirect via the parampara, the experience of reciprocation from Krishna through the parampara is as if you're getting direct reciprocation from Krishna. So this is our process of developing faith because we feel God's presence. And then eventually from that faith, when you start serving in faith, then you start developing love. You're not fearful of the spiritual master anymore. You start having even a friendship. We sing that in the Guru Vandana. Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu, Adama Janara Bandhu. He is the friend of the most fallen, an ocean of mercy. So to have friendship with the spiritual master is not a transgression of etiquette. He is that best friend. And ultimately, he's representing that supreme lover, the one that can fill us the heart's desires, that perfection of life. We can receive that through the spiritual master. So this is our process of realizing the absolute truth, that the greatness of God, but also the enchant factor of God that fills our heart up with love. We see that with Prabhupada. We have faith in Krishna because we see Prabhupada dedicate life to Krishna and what type of person he is and how much he cares about not just his followers, but all living entities. One time, I think it was in Australia, Prabhupada was riding in the back of a car. I'm riding in the back of a car. And the disciples were looking at the street and everyone is in Maya. You know, look at them, you know, they're all running to work for money. They're running to this sense gratification, that's sense gratification. They're all in Maya. And then they turned around and they saw Prabhupada with tears, feeling deep compassion. Para dukkha dukhi. The pure devotee feels the suffering of others, whereas the materialist is very happy when other people suffer, but very upset when they enjoy, when they're truly happy. And we say that when we go on Harinam. We're happy, we're not causing any harm, people are joining in, but there's always that envious one, that person who just feel like, how? You can be happy for free. You're not working, you're not trying anything of sense gratificatory. It's authorized sense gratification that's been preached to me by media. You're just singing and dancing. Get out of here, you're nonsense. Go get a job. They don't say that anymore. You know, because maybe we can reply, well, it's our day off. So we have to follow the scientific process of understanding the supreme absolute truth. And we have to experience the absolute truth and fall in love with the absolute truth. And this is done through the scientific process of parampara, and it's all confirmed by the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the cream of all Vedic knowledge. Kantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Harinamananda Prabhu. We're very much grateful and appreciative of your dedicated service. Probably if I were in your position, I would have called this meeting off. But here you are speaking to us and speaking to us with joy and with love. Dear devotees, as you all may see, we cannot thank our speaker for today much enough. But anyone with questions, comments, realizations, you may do so by unmuting yourself and going ahead to speak or ask your question, please. Prabhuji, you gave beautiful Krishna Katha, but there was one statement you made. I would like you to, I would like to talk about it and then you give more insight on it. That is, you were saying that the more we become advanced, the deeper our faith gets. Like the more advancement we make, the deeper our faith becomes. If we are not very faithful, how do we become advanced?
Yeah, maybe I'll rephrase it. So our advancement is based on how much our faith deepens in Krishna. So faith means like what you think will make you happy. So if people think that money will make them happy, that's where their faith is. So people have even faith in sex. If I have lots of sex, then I'll be happy. But the devotee has no, well, as devotees, we have no faith in sex. But we have faith in serving. If I serve Krishna as the pure devotee, the spiritual master, then all perfection will come. Everything that's required and more will be there. And what does a devotee want? Nadanam najanam nasundarim kavitam vajagadishikam. Mama jamani ishvara bhavata bhakti haitukita. They just want devotional service. The more service, this is the wealth of my life. The more Hare Krishna I get to chant, this is the wealth of my life. I actually think that's the greatest wealth. The more Hare Krishna you get to chant, that's more wealthy you are. So ultimately, we have to have the most advanced devotee have full faith in the holy name, just like Rupa Goswami. What is the use of this one tongue? And so much nectar in this holy name of Krishna. I want millions tongues. And what is the use of these 2 ears? There's so much nectar flowing in. I need billions ears. So that's the nature of the advanced devotee. Kirtana Sadahari. So we can, I guess, gauge in that way that faith advancement is shown when faith in the material enjoyment drops, and faith in serving Krishna, especially by chanting his holy name, increases, and one becomes a bit greedy about it. Yes.
Well, Prabhuji, is Krishna our well-wisher or our best friend or both? And even before you answer, the reason I'm asking this question is because, the beautiful story you shared about this boy who had grown up to become a criminal and stole and was about to be hanged, and he said his last word he wanted to talk to his aunt and bit off the ear of the aunt. because the aunt pampered him so much, and this is what had ended him into. So, if Krishna is our best friend and he's following us wherever we go, which is great of him, even in the stool, he follows us. But what sort of friend is our friend when he does not stop us from doing something, excuse me to say, crazy? Because if you're walking down the street with a very best friend and you mistakenly crossing the busy street, the friend is
Yes,
not just going to say, hey, watch. He's going to drag your hand and then pull you off the street.
yes, yes.
I believe this is part of the reason why some people become atheistic, thinking that, oh, actually, there is nobody. Otherwise, why is he allowing these things to happen? So that's why I'm asking whether God is a true friend or a well wisher. Because if someone is a well wisher, he's just wishing you well.
Yeah, no. Yeah, he's there all the time trying to advise us, but we cannot hear. That is the problem. We have our own plans and we're so stubborn, and he gives us warnings. We probably have noticed that sometimes, like, I don't know, maybe you've lost money in some way or you trusted the wrong person. And there were signs leading up to it. Some hints were there from Krishna from within. Don't trust this person. And then you're like, no, it's fine. It's going to be good. So then Krishna goes, okay, fine, go for it. And then you go through it, but he's still there, even though he didn't listen to you. So that's a friend. So he'll give you warnings. He's all the time there. Problem is we cannot hear him. Like I said, our senses are blunt to spirit and even to Krishna. So then Krishna, he comes as the spiritual master. The super soul manifests outside the body. We know the Chaita Guru, the Guru in the heart, that's Krishna. And then you have the Guru outside the body, and that's the spiritual master, the Shiksha Diksha Guru. And they will advise you, don't do that. So that's why one should always consult the spiritual master when one is unsure what to do in life. And you'll be surprised, these spiritual masters, they know everything about material life too. And they can advise you what to speak of spiritual life. So, and that's that's what the Vedas, they contain all spiritual and material knowledge. And the Bhagavatam is the cream of such knowledge. And we see that Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda descended to deliver the whole Kali Yuga by the two Bhagavats, the Buddha Bhagavat and the Person Bhagavat. So we need to engage in Nityam Bhagavat Sevya. So it can be in hearing and reading the Bhagavatam, and it can be in serving the instruction of the spiritual master. This is the secret of success.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the answer. Very satisfactory answer to me. So we go to His Grace Thakur Murari Prabhu, please.
Okay, sure. Just come out of the car.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. That goes to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Prabhu.
Thank you very much for the presentation. As usual, we cannot express enough appreciation for the presenters and the presentation. So quickly comment. So the story of the young boy who wasn't properly trained up and he's biting off his auntie's ears. I heard it many years ago. And I said, yeah, but then the other thing is that he didn't take responsibility for his actions too. So, there's a kind of balance. The auntie didn't train him enough and he didn't take responsibility. But we see the importance of training. So in the fact that, as you said, why the Lord allows us to mess up. But then we have to take responsibility. And as Prabhu said, there's so much there's so much instruction, but we don't take it. So we want to blame God. And thirdly, in our side of the world, we read about the Greek mythology, and I'm saying they knew about something. In other words, now I'm saying that, to my understanding, it's impossible for you to imagine something that doesn't exist somewhere. So I'm saying, yes, they had a little bit of knowledge. And in the Bible, they say, "Oh, give thanks unto the God of gods, for His mercy endureth forever." So there are some, indication that we knew something about, the God and goddess. But thanks again for your presentation. Hare Krishna.
No worries. Thank you so much for your words.
Yeah, I think Thakur Murari is so right. Even though the guy has a point in biting off the auntie's ear, but he failed or refused to accept responsibilities. He was blaming
Yes,
that without
that's why he's
blaming
a
himself.
rascal.
Yeah, he is a
That's why
rascal.
he's a rascal. So
Yeah.
then yeah, he has to pay the punishment. So if one is further a rascal, then they need a bigger slap. Yeah, that's we have these hellish planets. And
That's our unfortunate situation. We blame everybody except ourselves. Yeah. So, dear devotees, anyone with a question?
so then, in that way, uh, we try to put the blame on God.
Yeah.
This is a victim mentality. If it's God's fault, then I don't have to change.
Prabhu, if I may ask you something from the
Hare Krishna, sir.
Krishna, Hare Prabhu, please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just doing a follow-up of your question about the faith.
Propaganda.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is the? I mean, what I know is that faith doesn't just come by itself. Something must be done that brings up the faith. So, if the faith is what is propelling us in Krishna consciousness, then I need some more explanation about that, because faith doesn't come out of the blue. You first need to do something to get the faith. So can you go a little bit further in the explanation of the faith and our advance and how it's related to our advancement in Krishna consciousness?
Yeah. So the statement of faith. Faith is already there automatically. We hear about blind faith. Otherwise, you wouldn't walk out the door every day. So faith is always there, even though it's blind. So you may say like faith backed by knowledge and faith that's just, I guess, blind. So I guess that's just how we are, I would say. Faith will always be there. But in terms of faith in God, that's inherent in the living entity, just like there's a saying, there's no atheist on the battlefield. One automatically has to turn to someone higher to help them in such a bad situation. So I would say that everyone does have faith in Krishna, but the distraction or the temptations presented by Maya, that this will make you happy, kind of interrupt our progress in increasing our faith in God or increasing our love for God. You can respond also, because I want to see where you're trying to get at.
Well, thank you for the answer. Chakra Prabhu, do you have something else to say?
Yeah, yeah. What I was saying is it like there is a biblical verse that says that faith cometh by hearing, and hearing the word of God. So in
Yes,
other
yes.
words, yeah. In other
Okay,
words,
yeah,
it's
in
like,
that sense, yes. So Shraddha, it's considered part of two words. Shrat coming from Shruti, that which is heard, and Da means to carry. So real faith doesn't mean just saying I believe, but acting on what you hear from scripture. The opposite that is real hearing. So yes, we agree with the Bible there.
But in that sense, I think like anything and everything else, there may be levels in this faith. Because
Yes.
someone may be hearing and be developing faith because of the hearing. But I believe, and I stand to be corrected, I believe if someone goes through certain experiences, and I'm saying this because one time I was doing book distribution and I had a friend who happened to be a lawyer. He belonged to a different Indian sect. They used to call them some sort of satsang. So he would buy all our books. So at a point we had new books which included teachings of Queen Kunti. And when I presented this book to him, he said, no, my friend, I'm not taking this book. I'm not prepared to pray like Mother Kunti. But I think Mother Kunti prayed the way she prayed because she went through so much experiences and was proving that Krishna was protecting her and the family. And I think with that, the faith may be much deeper and stronger than somebody like me just hearing and oftentimes not seeing the protection I'm asking from God in my life. So you may say something in that regard, Harinamananda Prabhu.
Yes, so we should develop, like you said, there's different levels of faith. And, we have these 9 stages of bhakti, starting from Shraddha to Prem, Shraddha, Bhajana Kriya, Sadasanga, Bhajana Kriya, Ananta Nivritti, Nista, Ruchi, Shakti, Bhavam, Prem. So they are not, it's not like you jump to one level. So as your faith increases, then you're on the next stage, which is Sadhusanga. And then through that level of Sadhusanga, the faith is increasing simultaneously. And then you're on Bhajana Kriya, and then you increase further, and so on. So they're kind of like proportionally increasing simultaneously. So as your faith is, once you reach a certain stage, that means your prema is increasing also. There's a certain point that your prema will be so. I wish I had a graph. So when your prema is established, that means your faith is like through the roof. The faith is increasing simultaneously as the other stages are increasing. It's not like you're jumping from one to the other and you neglect the other stage. All of them are increasing simultaneously, proportionally to the faith, actually. So to reach to the point of prema, one needs to have like extraordinary faith. Yes. So yes, there are different levels, and I had notes on this, but I didn't have them with me. But yes, there's different levels of faith that at least you should recognize there's someone higher, superior than you.
Yeah.
At least that, and then you should show some appreciation. You recognize, you appreciate, and then you should honor or worship that personality. And then you understand the personality, the character of Krishna. Then that's when you fall in love. And that's what the great souls do. Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo Mata Sarvam Pavatati Iti Mata Bhajantama Buddha Bhava Samamita. That The great souls know that all spiritual and material worlds emanate from me. The great souls worship me with all their hearts, with bhava. So when we connect everything to Krishna, then we understand, wow, Krishna is so amazing and he gave us this opportunity. He gave me the abilities. He's giving my next breath. He's giving the sun and the moon. So much maintenance. He's taking care of my intelligence. He's giving me opportunity to know him, even though he's so great and I'm so insignificant. What an amazing person he is. So and then he performs these pastimes where he's like, like the Damodar pastime, and he showed us chasing him with a stick, and he's like scared nearly, and this prayer Dhammarastakam, I pay my obeisances to your belly, which has the whole universe there, and I pay my obeisance to the rope that can tie your belly. And I pay my obeisance to all your unlimited pastimes because it enchants me so much. It allows me to fall in love with you and connect to you in such an intimate level. So, what a nice person. Otherwise, such a person has even a little opulence, a little bit rich, a little bit beautiful, a little bit strong. They're proud. They're like, you can't hang out with me. Who are you? Low class person, ugly person, poor person, weak person. You cannot hang out with me. He wants to be your intimate friend. He wants to even be controlled by you, kind of thing. He enjoys that. And he wants that for you. And what do we do for him? Nothing. We're turning our back even. This love we will never understand. There's no real answer to why Krishna loves us. He just does. So.
Well, thank you so much. His Grace Shumavara Prabhu, you have something to share? I think this simpleness of the Lord is what bewilders all 11 entities, even including the Lord Brahma. Because for us as 11 entities, when we hear of a great person, we have our own expectation and imagination before we meet the person, and you meet the person. And you, like I was saying yesterday about our revered speaker for yesterday, if you read his bio, it's a very great person, but you meet him in person, very simple, humble. And so you say, what? Is this the person I read about? So Krishna bewildered Lord Brahma himself like that. So even though we're praying that we want to see Krishna, but even if we see him, are we going to accept that this is the Supreme Lord? I wonder.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, His Grace HARINAMANANDA Prabhu. We can tell, of course, you just got out of your bus or van, and we believe you have some important. I mean, Srimad Bhagavatam is also important, but you have some other important.
It's called Prashadam.
Yeah, Prashadam. Yes, it's very, very important. I used to think that would be my initiated name, but so. Dear devotees, if no one has something to ask or talk about at the moment, I think we may have to excuse our revered speaker, who has been so generous, so kind, by visiting us so many times and sharing his love and wisdom and his energy and infatuating smile and laughter with us all the while. So, with that being said, we're going to humbly request all the devotees to kindly unmute, and we all chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra to express our appreciation to our revered speaker, His Grace HARINAMANANDA Prabhu, for inconveniencing himself to be with us today. to share his
Hare
love.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Vancha kalpa taridischa kripa sindhudi imacha
Shubhevcha.
patitanam pavanabhyo.
Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha.
All glories to His grace. Harinamanda Prabhu ki
Jai.
jai.
Hare Krishna.
Vaishnava
Hare
Thakur ki
Krishna,
jai.
Ananda
Hare
Das Prabhu ki jai.